Welcome to the deep dive. If you're thinking about Portugal, maybe living, working, or just dealing with the system there, you'll hit this thing pretty fast. The NISS.
The Social Security Identification Number, yeah.
Exactly. So today, we're diving deep into that. What is it? Who really needs one? How do you actually, you know, apply?
And what's the reality of waiting times? That's crucial, too.
Right. We're using official info, like from Gov.pt, but also some practical advice from places like Access Portugal. Basically, we want to give you the map for this first step.
It really is the first big step. It's not just some number. It's your key, like you said. It unlocks your rights, your benefits.
And your obligations too, I guess.
Definitely. Contributions, employment records, it all ties back to the NISS. Without it, you're sort of invisible to the system.
Okay, let's unpack that a bit more then. At its core, what is the NISS doing for someone?
Well, fundamentally, it's your unique identifier within Portugal's social security system. Think of it as your account number for everything social security related.
So accessing healthcare, unemployment if needed, making your contributions if you're working.
Exactly. It covers people contributing, people receiving benefits, people involved in any kind of employment or even just economic activity. It's fundamental for engaging.
That sounds incredibly broad. Not just for standard employees then.
No, not at all. Independent workers, beneficiaries, pretty much anyone interacting formally.
Which makes you wonder, does everyone arriving in Portugal need to actively go and apply for this number? Or are some people maybe already covered?
That's a really good question. And yeah, there's confusion there sometimes. Not everyone needs to apply separately.
Okay, like who?
Well, for starters, Portuguese citizens who have the modern citizen card, the Cartão de Cidadão.
Ah, the standard ID card.
Right. When they get that card issued, the NISS is assigned automatically. It's actually printed right on the card, so they're sorted from the get-go.
That makes sense. Streamlined for citizens. What about, say, businesses, companies setting up in Portugal?
A similar situation for them, actually. Legal persons, so companies, they also don't need to apply for a NISS themselves.
How does that work then?
When a company registers officially, in the commercial register, the tax authority, the AT, automatically tells Social Security.
Ah, the systems talk to each other.
Exactly. And Social Security just assigns the NISS to the company. It's free, it's automatic, one less thing for them to worry about.
Okay, so the system is pretty smart for Portuguese citizens with the new card and for registered companies, but that leaves a lot of people who does need to actively go through the application process.
Right. This is key for many people listening. The main groups who must apply are first, foreign persons, so anyone moving to Portugal from abroad.
Makes sense.
Also, Portuguese people who might still have the older lifetime identity card, the bilhete de identidade vitalicio, before the citizen card.
Okay, so legacy ID holders.
Yes. And then legal representatives acting on behalf of someone.
And you mentioned employers earlier. That sounded interesting.
Yes, that's a specific case. An employer can apply for a NISS for a future worker, basically acting as their legal representative just for that NISS application.
So the employer gets the number sorted before the person starts.
Kind of, yeah. But, and this is important, the employer getting the NISS is separate from them officially registering the work contract. They still need to do that separately with Social Security Direct.
Got it. Two distinct steps for the employer in that case. So it really depends on your situation, your existing ID, if you're a company or an individual.
Exactly. It's tailored.
Okay, so let's say you're in one of those groups that needs to apply, a foreign national, maybe. What are the official ways to do it, and does it cost anything?
Good news on the cost front. It's completely free of charge to get an NISS.
That's great to hear. And the methods?
You've got two main official routes. You can do it online through the Social Security portal, the Segurança Social Direta platform, or you can request it in person by going to a Social Security Service location.
Okay, online seems convenient. How does that work on the portal? Is it easy to find?
Well, easy can be relative with government websites, but the path is you go to the portal, you pick either I am a citizen, Sociedade, or I am an employer, so empregador.
Okay.
Then you look for the option related to NIS assignment. It's called Atribuição de Número de Identificação de Segurança Social, NIS.
Right.
And within that, you should find a link to the actual form, the form for requesting a Social Security identification number. That's the online starting point.
Found the form. Now the fun part, documents. I bet this is where it gets specific depending on where you're from.
Oh, absolutely. This is where you need to be really careful and have everything ready. It definitely varies.
So what's needed? Let's say for someone from the EU or EEA or Switzerland.
Okay, for them, it's generally straightforward. You'll need your civil identification document from your home country, your national ID card, basically, and usually a copy of it to attach.
Simple enough. What about people from outside the EU, third country nationals?
Right. For third country nationals, you'll typically need your passport. Or if you already have one, your Portuguese residence permit or residence authorization could be temporary or permanent. Again, plus a copy.
Passport or residence permit. Got it. Are there provisions for people with, say, refugee status or international protection? Or maybe someone who doesn't have those standard documents for some reason?
Yes, the system does account for that. For people under international protection, and remember, this doesn't usually include the temporary protection for Ukrainians, that's often handled differently, or those without other ID.
What can they use?
There are specific documents, like a temporary residence permit, sometimes called an ARP. Even receipts showing you've applied for or are renewing an ARP can sometimes work. Or a residence permit specifically stating refugee or subsidiary protection status, or a formal declaration of international protection.
So there are pathways.
There are pathways. And for those Portuguese citizens we mentioned with the old lifetime ID, they just present that card.
Okay. And if someone is applying for you, like that employer example, or just a legal representative?
Right. If it's a request by an employer or a legal representative for a foreign person, they need proof of authorization. This means either an original power of attorney.
Like a formal legal document?
Exactly. Or there's a specific Social Security form called the Declaration of Authorization to Third Parties. It's MOD, PA-12. They need that or are the power of attorney.
Right.
And critically, the representative also needs to provide their own identification, document, passport, residence card, whatever applies to them.
Wow. Okay. That's a detailed list. It really underscores, like you said, being prepared. So you've gathered the right documents, navigated the portal, filled out the form, uploaded everything, hit submit. What happens next? Do you just get an email saying, here's your NISS?
Not quite. And this catches people out. You will get an email after the online submission is processed. That email confirms, yes, your NISS has been created.
Okay, good.
But, and this is the key part, that same email will give you instructions for collecting the actual NISS document in person at a Social Security office.
Wait, really? Even if I applied online, I still have to go somewhere physically?
Yes. It seems a bit odd, doesn't it? An online process that ends offline. But it's a mandatory step.
Why? Any idea?
It's likely a security and identity verification measure. They want to physically see someone, check ID one last time before handing over access to the Social Security system. Helps prevent fraud.
Okay, I suppose that makes sense. So who can do this collection? Just me?
It can be you, the applicant. Just bring your ID document mentioned in the application. Or it could be a lawyer, if they have their professional credentials and an original power of attorney. Or another person you authorize. They would need either that original power of attorney again or that specific MOD PA-12 form, the Declaration of Authorization, plus, of course, their own ID.
So planning for that physical pickup is essential, even with the online application.
Absolutely essential. Don't assume it's all done when you click submit online.
This brings us to the million-dollar question, or maybe the million-euro question. How long does this all take? You submit the form, wait for the email, then arrange collection. What's the timeline? Does the government give one?
Officially, no. The government sources state there's no set deadline for assigning the NSS after you submit the request. It goes into their analysis queue.
Oh, lovely. No set deadline always fills you with confidence.
Exactly. But this is where practical experience, like the info from Access Portugal, becomes really valuable.
So what does that suggest?
Well, they say the minimum turnaround could be just a few days, if you're lucky.
Okay, best case.
The average seems to be around 2 weeks.
More realistic, maybe.
But, and this is the bit you really need to plan for, the maximum can easily be 4 weeks, or potentially even longer.
Longer than a month.
Yes. They explicitly warn that some cases have experienced delays beyond a month. So their advice, and it's good advice, is to budget for the longer end. Plan for at least 4 weeks, maybe more, just to be safe and avoid issues with job starts or other deadlines.
Wow. Okay. 4 weeks plus? That's significant if you're trying to get set up quickly.
It really is. Bureaucracy has its own rhythm.
So we know the official application is free. But given these potential delays, especially if someone's on a tight schedule, it makes you think about practicalities. Are there other ways? How do services like Access Portugal fit in here?
That's a really practical point because, yeah, while it's free, your time isn't, and delays can cost you in other ways. Services like Access Portugal basically offer to manage that process for you for a fee.
How does that work? Do they have a magic wand?
Not quite magic, but they handle the navigating, the form filling, the submission based on the info and documents you provide them, usually your personal details and a scan of your ID.
So they liaise with Social Security for you.
Pretty much. They shepherd the request through. Then, when Social Security issues the NISS and sends that email confirmation we talked about,
The one saying come and collect it?
right. Depending on the service you pay for, they might just notify you it's ready for you to collect yourself, or they might offer a service where they do the physical collection for you, using that power of attorney or the PA-12 form.
Ah, so they can handle the final physical step too.
Potentially, yes, for an additional fee usually. It's about convenience and potentially navigating the system more efficiently if you're unfamiliar or not yet in Portugal. But remember, the bottom line,
Let me guess. Someone still has to physically collect that document.
you got it. Whether it's you, your lawyer, an authorized friend, or the paid service provider, that physical handover at the Social Security office is the final, non-negotiable step.
Okay, so let's fast forward. You've navigated the application, waited perhaps several weeks, arranged the collection, and now you finally have your official NISS document. Phew. Is that it? Are you done with Social Security admin?
Huh, wouldn't that be nice? No, getting the NISS is really just step one. It's foundational. It gets you in the system.
But it doesn't automatically mean you're registered for work or anything.
Exactly. If you have your NISS and your goal is, say, to start working as an employee, or maybe you register as a freelancer or independent worker, there are more steps.
More forms, more guides.
More guides, certainly. The Social Security portal actually has specific practical guides, guías prácticos, for these next stages. There's one for registering as an employee or trainee, covering attachment and termination of activity, and another important one covering the rules for independent workers.
So the NISS is the key, but then you have to use the key to open specific doors depending on what you're doing.
That's a perfect analogy. It unlocks the potential to interact, but the actual interaction, registering employment, making contributions, claiming specific benefits, requires further actions using that NISS as your identifier. It's the start of your relationship with the Portuguese social security system, not the end.
What a journey. Okay, so to quickly recap this deep dive, the NISS is your essential Social Security ID in Portugal.
Crucial for rights and obligations.
Right. Not everyone needs to apply Portuguese citizens with the citizen card, and registered companies are often automatic.
But foreign nationals, holders of old IDs, and representatives generally do.
The application is officially free, can be started online or in person, but always requires in-person collection of the final document.
And get those documents right. Passport, ID, residence permit, proof of authorization depends on your situation.
And crucially, the timeline. Plan for weeks, potentially over a month. Don't expect it overnight.
Definitely budget that waiting time. Services exist to help navigate it, but that physical collection is always the final piece.
It's clear that getting your NISS is a vital, sometimes lengthy, first administrative hurdle. Being prepared seems absolutely paramount.
Absolutely. And maybe that leaves you, the listener, with something to think about.
Okay.
Knowing these details now, the potential weights, the document needs, that final in-person step, how does that change how you might plan your move or your job start in Portugal?
Yeah, what does this kind of process tell you about engaging with Portuguese systems generally?
Right. It suggests that being really well-informed, patient, and frankly, quite organized is going to be pretty important for a smooth transition, wouldn't you say? Planning ahead for these administrative steps seems key.